Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful morning here in Stoke. I'll tell you what, it's really brightened up my mood. I've had the patio doors open. The sun's beaming down on the back garden, is beaming into the windows. The house is cozy. It's good. West Ham, not so much. The weather is very, very pleasant. Anyway, welcome. Thank you very much for joining me. If you're watching me live on Sunday morning, you are dedicated to Hammers Chat. I appreciate your company this fine morning. Please get your comments into the live chat for the next half an hour. We're going to be getting the Hammers Chat subscribers' opinions on the screen here, and we're going to be having a little discussion. It can be anything West Ham. It can be about the game against Liverpool. It can be about a player in particular. And, of course, we've got the accounts that came out on Friday. And then today, well, we're all going to be supporting Brighton and Fulham later on, aren't we? And to be honest with you, Man U as well. I don't think Palace will get relegated, but the more the better, right? I was pleased to see Man City beat Leeds. Again, I think Leeds United will be fine. But the more teams in it for the longer, the better, as far as I'm concerned. So fingers crossed results go our way. They've got more winnable fixtures. It feels more likely that Forest or Spurs will get something this weekend than they perhaps did last weekend. So it could be a bit of a nervous afternoon. I know a lot of people don't pay too much attention. I do. Even if they weren't in a relegation battle, I'll be watching at least one of the games anyway, just because of work. Like I'll be watching Arsenal-Chelsea at 4:30. No impact on West Ham. Well, I'll still be consuming the football. And if you're watching this later on Sunday through to Monday, please get your comments in below. Anyway, right, let's turn to live chat. Let's see what you're all saying. It's a blank canvas. You're the artist. Let's paint it. Ryan saying, I don't know how to explain it, but I was expecting us to get something against Liverpool, yet I'm not really disappointed after losing. I'm even more frustrated with the ownership and just fed up. I'm a bit like that as well, Ryan. And he goes on to say, Brighton beat Forest and Fulham beat Spurs, and maybe it won't look as bad. It wouldn't. It's just we're running out of games. I think if we were either, mid-table or halfway through the season, I think yesterday it'd be easy to brush off. You go, it's not the end of the world. We move on. It's because we're in a relegation battle. It's because we're in the bottom three. We're at the bottom of the relegation battle. And it's also because we now only have 10 games left. I've always had this, I say always, for the last month or so, I've had this belief we're going to have to get a big win somewhere. It's just one less opportunity for a big win. And I don't class Fulham as the big win. I will say this now, and I'll say it in the preview tomorrow. Fulham is not the game. If we win that, people might say, well, there you go, there's your big win. It would be a big win. Let me rephrase that. We need an unexpected win. Winning away to Fulham isn't that. I think we need to win away to Fulham. Full stop. Fulham away. Brentford. No, not Brentford. Yeah, well, maybe. But Fulham away. What's the 4 games? Leeds at home. Wolves at home. Palace away. Those are like the absolute must wins. And the other ones, Brentford, Everton, Newcastle, maybe Villa. We're going to have to get a win somewhere. We're going to have to get a win somewhere in there. And you might even need 2, depending on the other 4. Fox is saying, I was expecting West Ham to put up a fight at least against Liverpool, especially after watching the Forest game. We all knew if we get at them just like Forest, then we could grab 3 points. But oh no. Jonas saying, I want them to play 4-4-1-1 with Wilson and Tate up top and swap Wilson in the second half with someone else. Yeah, if you tuned into Liverpool preview, I wanted to go back to the 4-4-1-1 as Jonas put it. And it would have been Bowen I would have put next to Tate. 4-3-3 is okay, but I do feel like we're lacking. I think we're missing Pablo. We are missing Pablo. We're missing his energy, but I think we're also missing his presence. So how can we replicate that? How can we put someone else there? I think we need to do something. Hammer Time saying the Sullivan cannot afford to keep this club afloat, which is pretty obvious because it's run terribly. Then sell up. You're not fit for purpose to be running this club. You almost ruined Birmingham. There's a lot of, I'll talk about Anfield yesterday if anyone's interested, but Parker's saying, futile to keep worrying about what others are doing. We cannot control that. All we can do is focus on what we are or aren't doing. Whilst that's true to some extent, I think you do have to worry what other teams are doing. Put it this way, Parker. If us, Forest, Leeds, well, us and Leeds draw. To be fair, even if Leeds win every game except the last game. So we win every game, Forest win every game, Leeds win every game except the last game of the season, we go down. So we do have to worry about what other teams are doing. If Forest win, they go 5 points ahead. And if you believe that, which is we can't worry about other teams, then if Forest win, you'll be perfectly calm and you won't flinch. I will not. I will be honest. If Forest win, I will get, I don't know, upset, I guess. I'm nervous for the Forest game this afternoon because I don't think they'll lose. Kerry saying, I think I'd rather just go down now, staying up, selling our better players just to attempt this all again next season, just prolonging the agony and embarrassment. West Ham boys I thought we played well yesterday. XG was 1.84 compared to Liverpool's 1.75. They were clinical. We were wasteful in the first half. Second half was a 2-2 draw. Our season won't be defined by this game. I thought we played okay. I wouldn't go as far as saying well. XG's a funny thing. I understand what you're saying. What you're saying is correct. We were higher than Liverpool, but it's just, I don't know. I think I use it as a guide, and it's a very loose guide at that, personally. I think your eye test, what you watch, your eye test is far greater than what your statistics will tell you. Alex is saying, what's the point? We'll definitely go down next season. Anyway, Steve thought we did okay in spells, but really poor to concede 5 goals to a well below par Liverpool. Tanner saying we need to put this down to one of those games. We didn't play terrible, especially going forward. We're pretty unlucky not to score more, and a few of the goals were simply lucky. Lloyd saying, I know we lost, but I think we were okay yesterday. It was one of them days. Deflection, offside goal, own goal. We did some good bits. And Liverpool at Anfield, we were never going to win. Rocky saying, when does Pablo come back? Well, it feels like a $1 million question at the minute, but I think Nuno's been hinting he's not far off. I don't know what everyone else thinks from what Nuno's been saying in his press conferences. But to me, it sounds like Nuno's suggesting he's going to be back soon and that he's doing some form of training. That's certainly how I picked it up. But everybody can read and listen to the same thing and pick it up differently. So let me know in the live chat what you think. But I would say, Rocky, I'd literally guessing here, I would say maybe the FA Cup game against Brentford or something, the weekend after that. Who do we play after Villa? Maybe the Villa game. Major is saying, I don't understand finances, but how can we be broke, but we're in the top 20 richest clubs? To put it very simple, Major, the fact that we're 18th in the richest clubs on that table, it's purely, when we did a video at the time covering it, and I tried to stress in that video, which is based purely on turnover. The richest club is purely done by income. So we have the 18th greatest turnover, hence why we're there. But if they were to do a league table of, outgoings or committed bills and debt and stuff like that, that's why. The reason we're skint is because our outgoings are greater than our income at the minute. We're insolvent. We can't afford. If you take our guaranteed income and the bills we're committed to, this is greater. We will be able to afford them because we will revert to selling our players, the assets, and or more payday lenders. We will be borrowing in the summer. We will borrow from Paul to pay Peter. That's what we'll do. Robbing Peter to pay Paul. That's exactly what we'll be doing. We've been doing it for years under this board. They just borrow from one financial institution to pay off the previous one. Then the following year, they just borrow from someone else to pay off the previous one. And they keep going. Interest keeps mounting up. The amount you need to borrow keeps increasing year on year because you've got to pay off what you owe. And it's just got to the point where it's coming back to bite them on the arse. I keep saying, and I won't change my mind on this, this isn't one bad year. This isn't 1 year of mismanagement. This is numerous years of mismanagement just catching up to hit them in the face. And it's been delayed because, as I mentioned on the breakfast show yesterday, this board have had 2 Brucey bonuses recently. We've had Declan Rice. We took a player from the academy and he became world class, and we sold him for 105 million. So they basically got a 105 million pound bonus. They didn't go out and do a Brighton, sign a player for 15 million and sell him for 80 million. There was none of that going on. This wasn't a planned thing. There's no way they looked at Declan Rice at 15 years old and went, he's going to be worth 100 million one day. That didn't happen. They got lucky. Now the club are deserve the praise and recognition for developing Declan Rice, and they get that. Pellegrini, Bilic, Moyes, they all get the credit, and they do get the credit. But the board weren't planning on selling an academy product for 100 million, and if they were, that's an incredibly stupid thing to do. So they got that Brucey bonus of Declan Rice. And then we had a European run, 3 seasons of European football. One competition we won. Now, that money was less than Europa League. Even though we won it, it was worth less than the runs in Europa League because that's worth a lot more. But we also got to the quarterfinals and semi-finals of the Europa League. We went deep in all 3 European tournaments. Those European tournaments were worth tens of millions of pounds to the football club. You see it in the accounts that's just come out. The merchandise sales are down, and it says it's because we're not in European football. Now, obviously, tickets revenue is going to be down. Broadcasting money is going to be down because we're not in European football. And that's the club's fault in the sense that that revenue was always going to fall. But the merchandise sales, this dropped. Can't recall off the top of my head what it is, but it's dropped. Let's just say it was about 1 million, 1.5 million. And they basically, I think it might even be more than that. But regardless, they basically said it's because we're not in European football. So you think about how much money this club earned by playing European football 3 years on the trot. It was a lot of money. They didn't plan for that. When we hired David Moyes the second time round, we were in a relegation battle. The aim was to stay in the Premier League, and that was it. Moyes was the one that overachieved, not the board of West Ham United. It wasn't planned. David Moyes and that squad at that time massively overachieved and got European football. So again, I would strongly argue the case the club got another. I appreciate the overlap, Rice in the European football, but they're 2 separate things. The club got another Brucey bonus. This board got another large sum of money, which is to the tune of tens and tens of million. And I don't know how much over the 3 seasons, how much did European football give West Ham United? I don't know. Maybe I'll have a look one day. But it's comfortably over 50 million. So they basically got a 100 million pound payment for a player from the academy. And then they got over 50 million pound that they weren't expecting for playing European football. And here we are today. They didn't get this bonus and work it and use it. They pissed it up the wall. If we didn't have Declan Rice or European football, the accounts that we're looking at today, I think we would have seen them 12 months, 24 months, 36. We would have seen the same things ages ago. The only reason it's got this far into their tenure and 16 years in is because we had the Declan Rice money and the European money. That's my opinion. That is purely my opinion. Well, a lot of it's factual, but my opinion is based off those facts that this day was always coming, but it would have come sooner if it wasn't for Declan Rice and David Moyes and European football. Harry saying, feel like we will end up going down, but it will feel like rough justice as we all have a decent second half of the season. Damage done early. Summer window, Potter and Nuno's experiments. Steve saying this could turn out to be one of the worst seasons in the club's history. First, we lose one of the club greats. We're likely to get relegated. And now we've got financial meltdown as well. Brady and Sullivan out. Alex doesn't want Sullivan to go. He wants him to stay and own the mess. I mean, I get your point, by the way. I get your point, Alex, but I have absolutely no faith whatsoever that Sullivan will fix the mess. I'm not even sure he will own it. I don't even think he thinks there's a problem. I think he thinks they're probably doing okay. I think he thinks he's a good chairman. But even if he did own it, he's got to go fix it. I've got absolutely zero faith at all. Not even confidence, just faith. I don't have any hope. Dave saying, not only do I feel like we're going down, we are bankrupt in debt. We have to sell all of our players of worth, and most of our promising are either done or leaving. Sorry to be negative. BS out. Come on, yours. Never apologize for being negative on this channel, Dave. Please. I just want honest opinions. If it's negative, it's negative. If it's positive, it's positive. I don't care if it's positive or not. I want it to be positive. I want you all to be buzzing with something, right? But if it's negative, it's not your fault, Dave. It's not your fault you feel like that. Alan saying, maybe I'm alone, but I don't care if our owners put their money in or not. If they were doing a better job, they wouldn't have to. I agree with half of it, Alan. If they were doing the second part of that, so they were doing a better job, they wouldn't have to. I agree with that. And therefore, they wouldn't have to put money in. And then that's when I wouldn't care. So if we were sustainable and if we were financially healthy because of how they acted and operated as a football club. I would agree with you, but we're not. So I do care to put their money in because I want them to put their money in to fix what they've broke. That's why I want them to put the money in, because if they don't, we're going to sell players, we're going to take out more loan. And every time they take out a payday loan, it becomes less attractive to investors. Now, some investors may think, actually, this is what we want because they're going to have to sell the club cheap. But again, I ask you the question, do you think Sullivan would sell the club cheap? Because my answer is, it's no. Nick saying, stay up, we have to sell players. Go down, we have to sell players. 100 million plus of debt. How has this happened? And how does this not constitute failure of fit and proper owners of the Premier League requirements? I think it will. They got in before those. The barometers in place today were not in place when they took over West Ham United. But it's not to say that they may not reevaluate it in the coming weeks or months. Pierre saying, Hermansen is not good enough. He's always flat-footed and his first movement is always downwards. Tanner saying, even with Liverpool's quality at the back, our press forced errors from them and we were unlucky not to get the run of the ball when we nicked it. Chris is saying, too many mistakes, giving the ball away, not winning balls in the air, not clinical. The story of our season and the reasons we will go down. Nick saying, have we heard anything about potential buyers? No. Sequence, a combination of poor performances and the news about the finances could lead to a downfall of the club. Currently watching Leicester City collapsing where he lives means I'm very concerned. Yeah, they are horrendous at the minute. They are. That's why when people say we're the worst run club, I always push back and say, no, we're not. We're really badly run, right? But we're not run. I always go to Bury as the example. Say, well, can you really compare us to Bury? I don't think we can. Sheffield Wednesday, Leicester City, there's clubs as badly as we are, there's even clubs worse run than us, in my opinion, and Sequence is hinting to that as well. Sparrow saying, honestly, I think it might be best if we go down this season. We'll be screwed next season if we stay up. We'll be even worse than we are this year because we'll sell anyone worth a dime. Mark saying, Hermansen, Walker Peters, Casey Mayer, Skiles, Potts, Ward Prowse, Orford, Ajala, Pablo, Batcham. What do we think? Not for me. Or do you mean individually? I'm assuming you mean as a team. Let me just work it out. You've got a 4-3 type 3. I don't know. You've got actually Batcham is a right back. You're playing for the back, but as a wing back maybe. But then Walker Peters a centre back. I guess you're saying is what this 11 in the Championship. I think maybe you're suggesting. Yeah, I think that 11 in Championship might get relegated to League One. Personally, Mark saying these finances coming out justify our fan base is protesting against the board, and they've finally been found out. Maybe the mainstream media will see. Yeah, I was just reading an article just before going live. Can't recall who it was. Nothing to do with West Ham, an independent journalist, if you like, and. Yeah, it was going in 2-footed on Sullivan and Brady, which is a bloody good thing. Jordan saying, love to know how the media in defence of the West Ham board will respond now. Can't see how the TalkSport dross can spin it. It's actually people like Henry Winter that's pissing me off. I really like Henry Winter. And he's been criticising them recently, but he had them on TalkSport. Well, he had Brady on TalkSport and just didn't say anything. And then since then, he's gone into footed. And I think, hang on a minute, you had an opportunity to put questions to her. John saying, after the video you've done concerning finances, I feel like even if we scrape through this year, then we'll have to sell. Keep your opinions on finances in a couple of days' time. We'll have someone on here that doesn't support West Ham and is much more qualified to discuss football finance than I am. Mark saying the reaction to yesterday's result has been ridiculous. The game was a bonus match for us. It didn't happen. Move on to Fulham. Dan saying, I think Nottingham Forest will win today and Spurs will lose. I'm a Newcastle fan and we've been crap in the league. Hopefully win a cup, but the season is over. I hope you stay up. West Ham is my second team. Not doing great at the minute, are you? It doesn't feel great, Newcastle. Sam saying, how can you say Maddison was not at fault for any of the goals, basically? I didn't say that, Sam. He was for 4 of them and a deflected goal. So at fault for all of them, in your opinion? And you're saying I've got sheer grand delusion. Look, first of all, I haven't said he's not at fault for any of the goals. I literally did not say that. Admittedly, I said one of them, which is the second one. But I don't blame any keeper. And the thing is, it's not just Hermansen. I don't blame Areola. When he concedes a shot that's been deflected, I don't blame Areola. I say it got deflected. It's not the keeper's fault. Also, sometimes it's not the defender's fault either. I don't blame Wan-Bissaka for the third goal. McAllister's one. I don't blame Wan-Bissaka. He's trying his best to get his head on it. He does get his head on it. It's just not to put it over the bar. But the first one, it hits Mavropanos and changes direction. The second one, Wan-Bissaka gets his head on it and pushes it higher into the goal. And you can blame Hermansen for Disasi scoring an own goal if you want. But even if you think it's grand delusion, sheer grand delusion, that I don't blame Hermansen for Disasi's own goal, I'm not going to change my mind. I still do not blame Hermansen for Disasi's own goal. I don't see what he can do about it. I don't. It's Gakpo's goal. It's another wicked deflection. It spins off into the far corner. I think he's at fault for one of them, but the other four, I can't blame him. I think Wan-Bissaka is more at fault for some of the goals and chances yesterday than Hermansen personally. I think Wan-Bissaka was worse than him. We all see football differently, but I guess I've just got sheer grand delusion because I won't blame Hermansen for not saving Disasi putting the ball in the back of the net. Just like by the way, I also don't blame Disasi at all. I think he was unlucky. He threw himself at the cross. It went in the back of the net. On another day, it goes behind the goal. I don't blame Disasi. He's doing his best to block it. Gets something on it. It ends up in the back net. It's unlucky. That's all it is. I'm not. Anyway, I'll sit here and be with my grand delusion, but I'll blame him for one. But the other ones, not for me. Even if you think that, I'm not going to change my opinion. Keith, thank you very much for the support. Says if we stay up and tell Nuno he has no money, will he leave like he did at Wolves? Thing is, you'll get money. It's a good point, Keith, by the way. But I think he will get money. The issue is we will, for example, if we sell Jared Bowen for, say 50 million, I don't want to argue about the value, especially, but as an example, if we sell Bowen for 50 million, he might find, here's 10 million. Who do you want to replace Jared Bowen? So I think he'll get money to spend. It just won't be much. We're going to have to sell players for more than what we spend, or they'll just do the whole payday thing in order to bring in money and sign players in that form. Katie saying, will the government step in? Possibly, hopefully. We'll wait and see as they own the stadium and the board. The government might step in, not because they own the stadium, but because of the football regulator. That's why. It won't necessarily be because of the stadium. Dale saying people have a go at Hermansen, but not Bowen or Tate, who were awful yesterday. The defence midfield were fine. I think you can have a go at everyone. I think I've seen people have a go at Bowen. I think I've seen more people have a go at Bowen than Hermansen. The issue is with Hermansen is a lot of people, from the comments I've read, weren't convinced on him prior to yesterday's game, and I understand that, by the way. I think that is fair. I don't think he's been good in a West Ham shirt, and although defensively we've been better in the previous few games, I don't think he's been outstanding or anything like that. I think he's just been okay in those matches that we've been keeping clean sheet. I think Hermansen's just been all right, and that's it. But untested is the phrase I would use. I think Hermansen was not great yesterday, but also I don't think he was as bad as Bowen or Wan-Bissaka. But I do think he was perhaps. I'm just going through the 11 in my head. I think he was maybe our third poorest player out of starting 11. Certainly not Mavropanos or Disasi. I thought they were good. I like Juve. A lot of people have said Juve was poor, but that's okay. But I thought Juve was okay until the last goal. Magassa, Souček got his goal, but I thought Fernandes was good in the second half. I think Somerville was bright but ineffective, and Tate he got his goal, didn't he? I don't think it was a bloody good goal, but up until then, I thought he was struggling to be involved, but we were struggling to get someone up to go and press with him. A6 saying, upon close analysis, the first one barely hits Mavpanos. It's going in that corner anyways, and Hermansen was completely wrong-footed. I disagree. I thought it was going in the far corner from the angle from behind the goal. It looked like it was because of the knee it struck. It hit him on the left knee, not the right knee. But it's opinions. Iron saying, I can see Nuno sprinkling chaos in the ranks on Wednesday. Areola and Todibo in from the start. Hermansen and Mavpanos out wouldn't surprise me. I think that would be harsh on Mavpanos. I can see him making changes, though, by the way. There's one in particular I wish to see, but I think, yeah, you might see some Nuno experimenting going on. Ryan saying, Hermansen was definitely at fault for one of the goals, but I do feel for him with the other ones. There were some unlucky deflections overall. I don't think he was terrible. Duncast saying, sell everyone apart from Somerville, Fernandez, Magassa, Todibo, and Mavpanos, then fill in the rest with the youth team. Yeah, I just can't get behind that one, Duncast. That would make me really nervous. Really nervous. I mean, Earthy's only just got back into the squad at Bristol City. When he first went there in January, he was struggling getting the team, and it was just a case of the squad's too good for him to get in it. So I don't know how much he's got in. The last week or the week before, it was his first time he was in the squad. I don't know how he got on yesterday. I haven't checked. Let me have a look now. Here we go. Bristol City. I know he was in the squad against Blackburn, so I'll use that one. Player profile. Yeah, he's got 7 minutes at the weekend against Watford. That's it. Just 7 minutes. So he's not even getting game time at Bristol City, Earthy. Having a look here, he got 7 minutes against Bristol City. He's got 65 minutes against Swansea and 46 minutes against Sheffield Wednesday. 32 against Ipswich. He's not playing though. He got an assist against Watford, the previous game against Watford. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's been there for 10 games and he's played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. But the minutes come to less than 2 games in total. It's not a great loan for him. So I've been a big fan of Earthy. I've had big hopes for Earthy, but I have to be honest, I'm not convinced. If we were to go down, I'm not convinced Earthy would be, our starting number 10 or anything like that. In the squad, sure, but in starting week in, week out, I'd be erring on the side of no for now. Dale saying, one thing will be known is Martin Noble's done his job because we're going to need those youngsters one way or another. Maka said, I feel like Somerville's got greedy. He had opportunities to pass, but always chooses to shoot. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with him shooting when you've got a player in form like that. And also, when you look at Liverpool's goals, you could argue that when Gakpo shot and Wan-Bissaka was 2 yards away from him, he shouldn't be shooting because it hits the defender, but it flung off into the net. And I think you make your own luck in football. I'm a big believer. Anyone that's been around here for more than a year will know I'm a big believer in you make your own luck in the opposition's box and you've got to shoot. Pull the trigger. And if anything, on one occasion, I was frustrated that Bowen wasn't more greedy yesterday. It was in the second half. He was on the edge of the box and he cut in a little bit. It was on his left foot. And he tried to cross it, and the cross wasn't great. It went out for a goal kick, but it was sort of shooting distance for Bowen. I just thought, come on, have a go. He just looks like he's not got any confidence at the minute. And it's the first time, bearing in mind he's been here 6 years now. It's a long period. It's the first time I'm watching him thinking he looks a little bit slower and he looks like he's lacking confidence. And that's not a good thing. I don't know how to get him back to his best, and I'm almost a bit worried that we're not going to see him back at his best. I said before the game yesterday, I think we'll still see Bowen. We had 11 games prior to, including Liverpool, there was 11 games. I said I think we'll see Bowen get 7 or 8 goals and assists combined. He got an assist yesterday, Played poorly, got an assist. So he's got the quality, albeit from a set piece. He's got the quality, but I don't know. If I'm Nuno, I'm spending a large period of my time working out what's going on with Bowen, how to get the best out of him. Does he need a rest? Do you just need to say to him, don't come to training for a couple of days and then come back? You know, we're obviously playing, say we were playing next weekend. Do you give Bowen Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off, even Wednesday off? So take 3 days off, rest up, spend it with your missus and your kids, and then come back. How do you get him playing better? Because if he doesn't start playing better, I think we'll go down anyway, but if we are going to do it, if we are going to stay up, it's going to require Jared Bowen improving his performances. Not just him, others as well, but he's the one that can win you games. So I'd be saying, how do I get this guy back to the top of his game? And it might not be possible. It might be England. A couple of subscribers have mentioned it in previous videos, and they're correct. Bowen has spoken, historically, Bowen has spoken about the pressure of getting in the England squad and about how it got to him. It must have been for the Euros. Maybe it was for the last World Cup. Was it for the World Cup before Qatar? I think it might have been that one. And he'd been in the England squad, and he spoke about how it proper got him, like really got to him mentally, trying to get in the England squad, and he felt it played its part in poor form. And once the tournament was over, he was back to his best again. So is it that? And if it is, arguably, we've got a bit of a problem here, because how do you fix that? I don't know. Someone could. There'll be maybe a few psychologists in the live chat that'll be able to tell you how to sort it. James saying, agree, we need someone better. We're going down. Earthy wouldn't start for Ipswich, but a commentary. This is where we want to be. I agree. We didn't get in ahead of likes of Vadoni for me. So yeah, squad player, yes, but that's possibly what. H is saying we have to get Bowen off the wing. He's too slow, too predictable, and he's too easy to mark out of the game. Get him playing off the striker. I'm in agreement with that one. Daniel saying we choose to buy 2 strikers who don't score consistently. I like Tati, but anyone who saw him play at Lazio knew this. Without Bowen scoring, we are in trouble. I didn't watch him at Lazio, but I read Lazio's fans, and they said the same thing as yourself, Daniel. Dale saying, I think Bowen knows what's about to happen. He's seen what we have done with players who need to sell Kudus and Paqueta. He knows what's coming. Damon, loving the pre-match show yesterday. I hope you guys stay up and the channel carries on growing. You deserve it. We'll do our best. That's the only thing we can promise. Pierre saying maybe, just maybe, we should have sold Bowen pre-season. Get the full money. He's lost a lot of value this season. I can't argue with the second half of that. A6 saying, do we think Paqueta would have made a difference in any of our recent games? Paqueta, no. A replacement for Paqueta, yes. I think the story of Lucas Paqueta at West Ham United had come to its end. I think he had to go. He had to go for him, and he had to go for West Ham. So I have no regrets with Lucas Paqueta leaving. I think it was the right thing for all parties. My frustration is that we didn't replace Lucas Paqueta. And I don't mean with Adama Traore, okay? But we could have got in a player who is more of an attacking midfielder, has that creative aspect to his game. If we had someone like that in the squad, then yes, I think he would have made a difference, because we could have had him in the team alongside Fernandes and one of Souček and Magasa yesterday, and get someone. We don't have a player to play closer to Tati. We don't have one. The closest thing we've got to a number 10 is possibly Fernandes, but I don't want to move him. Beyond that, we're looking at Ajala. I mean, it would be bold to call him up, and I would have had him on the maybe have had Orford, but I think there's an argument you could have had Ajala on the bench the last couple of games. We certainly do not need all those centre backs. I stand by it. We do not need Kilman, Todibo, and Mayers. And weirdly enough, yesterday he decided to change left back and he put Mayers on, not Scarles. So if Mayers is the second choice left back, don't put Scarles on the bench. You've also got Walker Peters that can cover left back. Get a defender off the bench and get a more attacking-minded player on there. The options are limited, but that's all we can do. James can't believe that we put Adama on. Did he touch the ball? He did. I've seen him barging players in the corner. ineffective. He just looks weird, doesn't he? He's too big. He just doesn't look like a footballer. And lastly, Matt to say we need Pablo back ASAP. It's got to be 4-4-2. That might scrape us a win or two. We'll still have a fighting chance. Yeah, I think we need. And until we get Pablo, I think we've got to try and come up with a solution from within, which is how do we get. Because Tati scored a brilliant goal yesterday, but it was from a set piece. And prior to that, I feel like he was struggling to be involved in the game. Anyway, I just want to say massive thank you for joining me. If you've enjoyed this video, please do kindly drop a like on the video by clicking thumbs up. It helps us out. We'll be back. We've got a lot of content coming up over the next couple of days now. We've got the Fulham preview to do. And I'm hoping to have a video with, I'm going to call him a finance expert on the channel, talking about the accounts of West Ham. And it'd be an unbiased reaction to the West Ham accounts, if you like. Then, of course, on Wednesday night, we've got the game against Fulham. I don't like midweek games, but we've got one. But thank you very much. I appreciate your company as always. Thank you for sticking with me, and I'll catch up with you in a bit.